back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rachel Benura, and I have a wide range and variety of things I do, from homeschooling and bread making, sourdough, fermenting, homemaking, trying to run an Etsy shop on the side, trying to figure out how to create YouTube videos, trying to plant gardens and seeds. We do have some chickens. Farming is not on the menu yet, but maybe some point in the future when I feel really brave. Anyways, while I was pondering what to talk about in this video, while I was doing some cleaning and homeschooling, I took a moment to read through this magazine, which I haven't in a while, called Voice of the Martyrs. Always very inspirational stories. And this issue talked all about, and I didn't even know about this region, perhaps you already do, but shame on me. It's called Kashmir, and it's a place at the top of India, right between like west of China and right of Pakistan. And I'm just going to read you this little clip. Pretty much the whole magazine has several stories in it from different men who were actually in this very Muslim country and trying to spread the gospel. It's very, I mean, this man here, was it Muhammad Yusuf Bat, was martyred in 2015, not all that long ago. And what he started is still ongoing. I just want to take a minute to read this story. And maybe for those of you who don't have time to read, maybe you could just listen. The freedom of simple obedience is kind of, I feel like, a summary of some of these people and stories sort of put together. As Christ's disciples, we are simply called to obey him at any cost, with no assurance of results. Only God can bring forth eternal fruit from the seeds of our obedience, and he often does so in ways we do not expect and can't fathom, because his wisdom and ability are infinitely, not marginally, greater than ours. The truth is both humbling and freeing. Ahmed, on page 4, was armed with his powerful truth when he risked giving a Muslim man a New Testament in Kashmir, a region that has endured armed conflict between Muslims and Hindus for 75 years. God used Ahmed's simple act of obedience to transform a Muslim named Muhammad, and there's an illustration on the cover at the left, that one right there, into a bold evangelist and church planter with a dangerous mission frontier, or in a dangerous frontier, whose populace is 97% Muslim, as Muhammad, now nicknamed Yusuf, planted churches composed of Muslim converts in the area. He led a Muslim named Mahmud, it's on page 8 in here, to Christ. A short time later, Mahmud began walking in simple obedience by giving Bibles to 5 Muslim friends in his village. He wrestled with fear as he did this, because loss of family relationships, housing, and jobs are often the minimal cost for following Christ in Kashmir, and many have paid with their lives. But his simple response of obedience to the Lord's instructions helped him conquer the fear. By July 2015, Islamists in Kashmir had seen enough of Muhammad's witness for Christ. 4 masked gunmen dragged him from his home and shot him to death on the street. As in every case of persecution, the attackers' goal was to silence the gospel, but they merely watered the seeds of Muhammad's obedience with his blood, resulting in a great harvest. Mahmud and other Muslim converts continued to witness for Christ at the cost and with no assurance of the outcome, at any cost. I'm greatly encouraged by remembering that God has expanded his eternal kingdom in Kashmir through the simple obedience of one man distributing a New Testament, and another man who became a very zealous evangelist who received that New Testament, and other men whose stories are in here in the same region, who are all affected and also went out and took up, I could say, a cause, but they made a commitment to serve 7 years and reach as many houses as they could. Their goal was, I think, 50 houses a day. And they went throughout the region preaching Christ. And all these stories, you can go through one thing after another of the stories of these different men and what they had to go through and endure, and how they weren't even afraid of the persecution when they realized that Jesus himself received persecutions and beatings, and if he could, then so could they. And they were willing to do any of that to follow their God and to continue not their, but his mission of spreading the gospel. I don't know why this seems like it should be a foreign concept, and I think the reason I feel the need to even remember this is because we live in a nation right now that I believe has a very strong agenda being pushed of, I call it individualism. It's kind of the idea that the best you can be or do is to build your own kingdom and do your own thing and find your own inner voice and to do your own thing. When according to the gospel and the Bible and real history, we find that the greatest thing that you can do is to actually lay down your life for a cause greater than yourself. And to lay down your life, I always find it interesting, like Jesus never said to lay down your life for the greater good. I think that's communism that maybe said that. But he said the greatest love you can have is someone laying down their life for his friends. To actually love your neighbor as yourself. Not to make yourself out as nothing, or there's all kinds of different crazy ways that I think good ideas have been misinterpreted. But anyways, without going off too much of a tangent, the simple idea that there's freedom and simple obedience because we know that we serve a God who is powerful enough to make his ideas and his mission come to pass. That was encouraging and convicting to me today. Maybe you can be a little encouraged and convicted by that as well. I don't know. The thing I was actually going to talk about a little bit today was babies, which is very different, maybe. I feel like I always have kind of like a different sort of subject, content ideas that I talk about. But partly because the handout that I was going to, or the download that I was going to share via email, was all about herbs to use during pregnancy. And I spent quite a bit of time going through that and making about 5 cards worth. There's ones that you do not want to use during pregnancy and ones that are great to use during pregnancy. So we are expecting a little one at the very end of summer this year, and we're very excited. Still a long ways off. This would be child, it's so hard to say. It would be number 7, but in a way we've kind of already had number 7, which is a new experience for me. We had a miscarriage on October 5th, just last year. And that was quite difficult and at the same time quite eye-opening, as it's something that's very new for me, and it was very different. And it's a whole story that I could go into, but it's kind of the thing that I would only share with people who, other women who have had similar experiences or actually want to hear about it. And I bled a lot, and I think without any help at all, it's possible I may have bled to death. And 2 different times. The second time, I seemed like I was doing all right, but that was the worst complication I had, was a lot of bleeding. I never realized that that was an issue with miscarriage. There was a lot of things I never really thought much about miscarriage before that happened, and it kind of has opened several doors to many conversations and a new realization of how this is an area that women really need to be supported in. But anyways, just a few months later after that, we discovered that we were expecting, and it was during a season where I was losing my mom. And I'm sorry this video is not a very peppy one. There's a lot of things I've been pondering these days, and that was kind of, I think, a gift to me during a season where my mom had liver failure at that point. She had diabetes. We didn't realize her liver was so bad until she started accumulating fluid in her abdomen, and it was a very quick downhill. She went downhill very fast at that point. She was in hospital 4 times in 1 month, and each time she lost strength and was just doing worse. It was a very difficult time. And right as I was going to pick up my sisters from the airport, well, they were flying in because we had a feeling that we might not have much more time, and we wanted to see if we could spend some time with her off the respirator. And I was very thankful that we were able to do that for a short period of time. And not get into all that story, but I'm just saying, forgive me for fiddling here. We are very excited to be able to be expecting one now at the end of summer. And so I have had a lot of things on my mind baby related. I am beyond excited and anxious and eager to know the gender of the baby. I kind of can't wait. As more things go along, I have my ideas and wonderment. I don't have a whole lot of nausea. I'm starting to wonder if that might be something I have less of with girls, but I don't know, because my girls were first and they are now 18 and 16, and it's been a while. It really has. We have an almost 2-year-old right now, and there is a 12-year gap between him and our next oldest, or next youngest, I guess I should say. So we lost our baby number 7, but this will make 7 for us that will now be a part of our family that we'll need chairs for in the car and places for at the table, and my mind's just swirling with all of that. So anyways, there will probably be some talk about babies and pregnancy and kids and other things at certain points on this channel. And if that's something you'd like to hear more about or just chat about, please let me know. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. And here is a little printout. I did 4x6 size, and this is my Canva download, which I will send via email. And if you aren't on my email, just go to rachelbenura.com and sign up with the pop-up, and you will get the printouts. I mean, yes, the downloads anyway. Well, you can actually, if you want to, you can go on there and make changes, or you can just download and then print them off. So this is 4x6, and you can kind of see. Anyway, since I made it, I figured I would just show you a little bit what it was. Anyway, so that is that. This was actually quite helpful for me because I like knowing what not to take during pregnancy, and I like to know what is great to take. And some of these were just reminders. Nettles is way up there on my list. Red raspberry is up there, and I haven't been taking it yet, but I've had that with all my pregnancies, usually the last half, but you can take it during the whole pregnancy. So, and there's a few others that are, anyways, I'll let you look at the download, but that are even good for reducing the chance of miscarriage, and I put some of those on there as well. And I've been learning about that while I have been studying a bit more, making my herbal cards. And so, yeah, I always learn more. Unicorn root, very interesting because I didn't know that existed. I actually think I could find it now out in the yard if I needed to. But unicorn root is great to take during pregnancy, not to be confused with false unicorn root, which is okay to take after pregnancy. Anyways, and then I was studying about mistletoe, also not good to take, but makes a great after-birth tonic. There are herbs you can take to actually help the uterus contract afterwards. There's one you can take to just help your overall immune health. And there are ones that you can take that are great for digestion issues, which I have, and all kinds of other things. Anyways, so go ahead and feel free to go take a look at that. If you're interested, or if you know someone who's pregnant, and maybe just send it their way. Anyways, without anything else to say, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.